Hey guys, it's Kusi. Today I have a slightly different than usual video for you. So don't mind me letting this dungeon with my survival hunter run in the background. I made my way onto the 10.2 PTR and gathered a few cool things to come. And because I will wait for the next Zero to Keystone Hero adventure till the upcoming patch, we will dive into a bit of a research for 10.2 when it comes to potential biz items for certain classes or roles. This includes a deep dive into the new Raid Trinkets and some trinkets from the new Mythic Rotation, as well as a summary of all the extra effect weapons that will be introduced this patch. Are you thirsty for informations? Let's go! First, we are going through a few upcoming items that will most likely be included into the new Mythic Plus pool. For those of you that don't know, in Season 3 we will have a new updated list of Mythic Plus dungeons to either learn to love or learn to hate with a passion. First, we got Dawn of the Infinite, which will be split into two separate dungeons considering it's 8 bosses long. Then we got two completely new dungeons to the Mythic Plus genre in the Everbloom from Warlords of Draenor and the Throne of Tides from Cataclysm. The other four dungeons were included in Mythic Plus pool before: Darker Thicket and Black Cold from Legion, as well as Waycrest Manor and the Taldazar from Battle for Azeroth. Since I played the game over the course of the last few expansions too, I can already tell you that I got some mixed feelings for this certain choice of dungeons. A lot of tight spaces to play around, which often can be a drag due to line of sight or sanguine management. Not sure if they will add any new affixes as well, or at least rework a few of the current ones. But even though I don't really dislike any of those dungeons, in fact, I really enjoyed Black Cold and Waycrest Manor, I can tell that those can be potentially disliked keys by the community. Now that we know what dungeons will await us, let's talk about the whole thing that matters to all of us. Those sweet juicy epics. And boy do we have a few to talk about. Quick disclaimer, the Everbloom as well as Throne of Tides do not have an updated gear list for the Mythic Plus version yet, so I won't include those at this point. Now, let's talk Dawn of the Infinite first. For the only weapon in here that may be a potential juicer for casters, we talk about Iridial the Earthmaster. Besides having extra stats on it, it is also a 3-minute cooldown which will blow out an extra 190k damage on item level 437, and by passively hitting targets in that execute range, you will lower the cooldown by 1 second. Extra effects that give you another button to press are always a fun thing to gain every now and then, so surely no one will complain about this one. And unless your class really can't do anything with either haste or versatility, surely this will be the go-to weapon of choice. For our strength-wielding melee brothers, I just quickly mentioned Gorehowl, for absolutely no reason but the transmog. I mean, look at this thing. Potential trinkets from the same dungeon can be Accelerating Sunglass, which pretty much just gives you a certain amount of haste at any given time. Mirror of Fractured Tomorrows is a fantastic stat increase for every class that has either 1.5 minute or 3 minute cooldowns to line up with. I mean, 3000 of your highest secondary stat sounds incredible considering it's only 437. The next one, I'm not that sure if it's a nice thing to use or not. Time Thief's Gambit seems like a steal on the first view. It has a 1 minute cooldown to grant you 2000 haste for 15 seconds, but after 2 minutes, a paradox will spawn that will freeze you for 5 seconds. Though you can delay that effect by 15 seconds for every mob that dies, and you can even remove the entire thing when a boss dies. I'm not sure if pressing the effect again before the paradox spawns will make it instantly appear or not, but when it comes to chain pulling stuff in dungeons, this could be wild. But maybe you need some weak hour to check this one proper. At last, from the mega dungeon, we got a trinket that can be a banger for lower geared tanks, and even tanking to the first higher keys. Prophetic Stone Scales is a trinket for tanks that is considered a sheet death, since it will proc a really nutty amount of health when you would take a fatal blow. But this one also increases your haste by a lot and lowers the damage taken by surrounding mobs by 20% as an extra effect, so you have plenty of time to recover. Definitely going to try to snatch one of those quickly, so I can learn pulls and won't get punished too much when potentially pulling a mob too much. Coming to the newly added dungeons, we got a trinket from Black Cold, which I believe was useful back in the day due to its effect of silencing casters, but I would assume due to the damage options that tank usually lean towards nowadays, this won't be able to keep up. 3 trinkets that probably will keep up with the current trinkets are Reason's Gleaming Eye from Taldazar, Core-Crossed Butcher's Block, and Bellfire Branch from Waycrest Manor. At least I remember very clearly that people farmed those for ages. And since I'm a sucker for extra effects, or mini sets as I call them, I will mention those 2 puppies from Waycrest Manor too. With this set, the damage and healing effects proc off each other, possibly some extra output for healers, maybe even Mistweaver cause DPS and HPS happening at all times regardless. But that will depend on how well it scales surely. Now we get to the most fun thing for me every time a new raid comes out. Let's check out the new trinkets from the raid, shall we? First, let's talk tank trinkets. Painted Rage Heart pretty much has a constant dot on you. but also does the same damage to every mob around you. The use effect will grant you a shield, but also increases the amount of ticking damage on you as well as on the targets. Gift of Urtus. This trinket pretty much counterattacks when taking damage, while also granting you a stack of Rising Rage that will increase your agility or strength, stacking up to 30 times. Upon reaching 30 stacks, you will counterattack every blow to you and regenerate some extra health for 8 seconds. Branch of the Torment Ancient is also considered a tank trinket that will slow you by 10% on use and will give your next 6 melee abilities some extra damage that also can split in AoE situations. Since pretty much every tank is a very button mashing playstyle, surely this can be some good burst. Healer specific trinkets will be the Smoldering Treant Sapling. Using this will make a little sapling spawn that from the sound of the tooltip will die unless you heal it up. All healing you do to it will be replicated to allies while also being increased till a certain amount of extra healing is reached. When you manage to keep this little seedling alive, you will be granted an increase in main stat for 10 seconds. The second healer trinket is called Blossom of Amirdosil. This thing is pretty much just a passive trinket that will occasionally hot an extra target and will have another extra effect depending on if the target is at max health or not when the hot expires. For casters specific trinket we got Belorelos the Sunstone, which is an active AoE boom trinket that also hits you for a good amount. Now I won't even try to pronounce this. Vengeful Spindle. We need to talk about this. The tooltip says that you will do 400k damage every 0.5 seconds for 4 seconds. Quick math, 400k times 8 is 3.2 million damage, while also increasing your mastery for 15 seconds and decreasing damage by 20% if the target is immobilized. What the hell, dude? Not sure if the number is not accurate, but this seems like a lot for a 2-minute trinket. For melee DPS, we got Infernal Signet Brand, which in short will deal damage to a target while giving you a stacking buff to increase the damage output. This effect stacks up to 15 times, and once you get over 5 stacks, you also take some of that damage yourself. When reaching 15 stacks, 10% of the damage will also be dealt AoE. This also seems crazy for chain pulling, since the stacks quickly decay out of combat. Coiled Serpent Idol. It's pretty much just a passive damage output that has the chance to trigger some serpents to attack your target. Every third proc will trigger 3 serpents instead of 1, and if the affected target dies, they will do some AoE damage. Pretty simple. Bandolier of Twisted Blades. This is yet another melee trinket that requires a little bit more activity in order to be useful. You use it to deal some extra damage on your target, and after 3 seconds, the blades return to you, burning everything in their path. So surely you want to position yourself proper so you can hit as many targets as possible. The next one is a specific trinket for all DPS classes. Augury of the Primal Flame pretty much just gives you crits a chance to do extra damage as AoE, full on passive effects. Finally, we do have some extra trinkets to talk about that aren't role specific. Pip's Emerald Friendship Badge seems like the chromatic essence or incarnate icon of this patch. I will assume the best friend is not of choice, but rather cycles through and will grant you either crit mastery in verse, as well as a chance to proc the next best friend and repeating the cycle. No haste on this one to get, so I'm not sure how big this will be to be fair. The other trinket for everyone is Ashes of Ember Soul. This 2-minute cooldown grants you a whooping 4.3k main stat for 20 seconds while decaying every 3 seconds. When this effect ends, you pretty much lose the extra haste the trinket gives you as a stat for 60 seconds. Very burst heavy trinket, and I want to see people use it in Mythic Plus for sure. Now that we are done with the new trinkets, what do you think of them? Picked any favorites so far? Let me know. But this raid doesn't only have cool trinkets to play around with. We are also blessed with some weapons this time. I was already hyped that there will be a 2-hand crit haste weapon for Survival Hunter, but then I saw this bad boy. Hashtag blessed. The same weapon also exists for 1-hand strength users. Furthermore, we got a healing weapon with an extra on-use effect as well in Dreambinder, Loom of the Great Cycle. Rogues also can be curious about the Cruel Dream cover, since it doesn't really say what it does yet. And our 1-hand agility Andes will have the new fist weapon to aim for in Thorncaller's Claw, which pretty much can do some extra AoE damage. What's not to like about this one? So, summary, Hassa DPS get a unique weapon from the Mega Dungeon, and everyone else gets one from the raid, while Warrior, DK and Paladin get a big 2-hand legendary. So everyone gets something cool, right? Everyone. Besides Beastmaster and Marksman. Rip my brothers. Survival New Meta Inc. But this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this little rundown of some of the new things that await us in the next patch. As always, I wish you the most fantastic day whenever you see this, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.